You didn't find a black baseball cap.
We did not, no, sir.
Why don't we have a single photo of John laying in the snow? Isn't that like crime scene 101 photograph?
Did you know somebody at the time known as Trooper Michael Proctor?
Do know him, sir.
Were either Michael Proctor or Trooper Yuri Buchanan at Fairview that night?
No, they were not, sir.
That's because they were there before, scattered the scene, and then left. And then they showed up. How is it possible that the pieces of plastic, if they were buried under the snow, some of them would actually appear on top of the snow? Did they grow legs and crawl up under the snow? Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Buckle Up, It's the Law. Folks, today we are going to finish up with Lieutenant Kevin O'Hara from the CERT team. I hope you all are enjoying your long and fruitful weekend. It is almost at a close. We resume the Karen Reed trial tomorrow, and over the next day, 2, 3 maximum, from what I'm hearing from various sources, Brennan is about to rest his case. Without calling the owner of the house, without calling the lead investigator, without calling any of the people who were in the house. Well, shouldn't say any. A lot of people who were in the house. And without calling the accident reconstructionist, Trooper Paul, of course, and many, many others who are related to this incident, including Colin Albert, one of the killers, and Allie McCabe, who is complicit in covering up the killing. Of course, we're going to hear from Lucky, the snowplow driver. We know that's coming. He is a huge piece to all of this. And I guess the defense is going to call the lead investigator? Like, what is going on, folks? I'm assuming he's under subpoena, former Trooper Proctor, disgraced Massachusetts State Police. No, sorry. Disgraced former Massachusetts State Police Trooper Proctor. I can't help but wonder if Proctor is out of the country. Just by coincidence, over these next couple of weeks, he's going to be traveling somewhere. Like, I don't know, trying to get lost in the Bermuda Triangle, going to Europe. Just somehow coincidentally scheduling a vacation in the middle of June. Wouldn't that be something? You know, it'd be really awesome if Proctor would be like laying on a beach somewhere in Lithuania and a couple of FBI guys just show up and they're like, hey, you're needed in the States for testimony. And he's like, well, I'll be there. No. We have a plane ready for you, buddy. Come on, let's go. Wouldn't that be something? Oh, I would pay good money to see something like that. It would be very satisfying. But anyway, let's do O'Hara.
Without assigning an exact measurement down to the millimeter, Lieutenant, you've earlier indicated that all of the pieces and the shoe, relative to each other, it's just relative to each other, were found within a foot or so of each other, correct?
Eyeball, again, as the distance that I just said, sir, from inches to maybe a couple of feet. I know they all are geomarked with exact coordinates that, could be measured out at a later time, which, again, would have been at the purview of the detectives. But we did not measure them, again, all eyeball that night.
Understood. When I say, and it may have been a bad question on my part, Lieutenant, and if it was, I apologize. When I say a foot, within a foot of each other, I don't mean a foot apart. All of them you've earlier testified would be inside of a foot total, correct? Or maybe 2 feet now? I
don't think they'd be quite that close, sir. I think they were maybe in between each item, sir, or close to it.
I have just a moment, Your Honor. Okay. I know this isn't necessarily a memorization contest about your prior testimony, but do you remember testifying about this specific
impeachment
issue? Here I go again. I can't speak. This specific issue about a year ago, and another, back in 2022 at a grand jury.
Yes, I did, sir.
Okay. Do you remember exactly how you described where everything was with relative, May 5th, as a matter of fact, at the grand jury, relative to each other? Do you remember how you testified exactly?
I believe I said within a few inches or a foot away. Yes, sir.
Excellent memory. You've rattled off times and dates like I've never seen before. So it's exactly what you said. So within a few inches of each other, maybe a foot is what you said, correct?
That's what I said, yes, sir.
Okay, so if it's maybe within a foot, this is 11 and a half by 8.5 piece of paper, maybe an area a little larger than this, correct?
Correct, sir.
Okay.
Oh, the
As
smirk.
you found items of evidence, did you alert Lieutenant Tully to that specific piece of evidence?
Yeah, so I was not one of the members who found any of the evidence, but as my team members located something, we would halt the line. Lieutenant Tully was a short distance behind our line. We would go out, get his attention. We would cease our operations until he informed us that he felt it was properly documented.
And ultimately, Lieutenant Tully was the person responsible for documenting that item, is that right?
That is, sir. We fall under the incident command structure. He technically took the lead as the incident commander that night, sir.
And he did that through photography?
Yes, sir.
So you saw him taking pictures of the items in their place once they were found, correct?
Yeah, I believe he was the one taking photographs, sir.
And by definition, Lieutenant, as a search like this is being conducted, unfortunately, moving snow means possibly moving the items themselves, right?
Potentially, yes, sir.
Because they might end up in a shovel full of snow, you turn it upside down. That's not where the piece of evidence was to begin with, right?
Correct. It's been moved at that point.
But in this case, nearly all of the pieces that you did find, including the shoe, were nearly next to each other, meaning within inches of one another, correct?
I don't know the exact distance again, sir, ballpark eye distance, but again, that is why we provided the GPS coordinates of each location, because we did stamp those with a handheld GPS as we found items of evidence, and all those locations were turned over with our report to be measured at the desire of the detectives, sir.
Certainly, using that very impressive memory of yours, your memory back in May of 2022, May 5th of 2022, was that they were within inches of each other.
I believe that's what I stated, yes, sir.
Okay.
So that's what I stated, but it's not the truth, right? What is he trying to say? He's like, that's what I stated, therefore that's the truth, buddy.
Ultimately, you indicated that the search, after about 6 or 7 pieces were found, as well as the shoe, the search was suspended just after 6 o'clock, correct?
Approximately 6:15-ish, sir, we stopped. We'd gone, like I stated earlier, we'd gone approximately 8 to 10 feet further south on the road without recovering any other pieces of taillight. We knew we had already located the sneaker, so we decided to suspend the search at that time until possibly a future date.
And you were never called back out to the scene by Lieutenant Tully or anybody else, correct?
No, we were not, sir.
And did you become aware that over the next days and weeks and days and several weeks, there would be 40 more pieces of taillight claimed to be recovered at the scene? Did you become aware of that or no?
I was aware other pieces were located. I did not know that was the number, and I don't know exactly when I became aware of that. It was probably much later on, possibly at this location when I learned that information, sir.
And you don't know, as you sit here, you don't know whom it was that recovered those additional pieces, correct?
No, I've never seen the evidence log, sir.
And you don't know when those additional pieces were claimed to have been.
I do not know.
When Lieutenant Tully and you had a conversation about shutting down the scene, was Lieutenant Tully's comment to you after those first few pieces were found that he was, quote, very satisfied that you had recovered everything that you were going to recover from that night, from that search?
Sustained.
Why? Why?
Mr. Brennan asked you about the conversation that you had with Lieutenant Tully to shut the scene down, to clear the scene, correct?
Yes, so we conducted a debrief, and I gave him, again, as I mentioned earlier, we provide a probability of detection. I tell him what the chances are. I think we found our items we were looking for, and we determined to suspend the search.
Do you remember testifying last year that Lieutenant Tully indicated that he was very satisfied with what was found?
I don't know if I used the word very satisfied, but he was satisfied that evening that we had found everything we were going to find that night, sir.
And you didn't. And you did not, because there was tons more to be found. How is it possible that the pieces of plastic, if they were buried under the snow, some of them would actually appear on top of the snow? Did they grow legs and crawl up under the snow? What?
Tully's words were, as you sit here.
I believe, yes, he was satisfied with the search. I just don't know if he used the word very satisfied or not, sir.
Would refresh your recollection, take a look at your transcript.
I'm sure it will, sir.
It's the one thing you didn't learn. Man. Highlighted portion, Lieutenant.
Thank you, sir. I'm just going on the date. Is this from last year, or would this be from the grand jury, sir?
June of last year.
Okay. Yes, sir. So it does state here that I stated he was very satisfied with the search.
Yeah, refresh your recollection, that was the word that he used, or at least you remember him using that.
Yeah, I believe, to the best of my recollection, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Remember, I told you guys, the number one thing in this trial is going to be impeachments, and we have seen hundreds of them now, maybe even close to 1,000. It's experience. I'm not trying to toot my horn here. I'm just being sincere. When you have prior inconsistent testimony, and we knew there's going to be prior inconsistent testimony in this trial. Look at Kerry Roberts, for God's sake, admitting, oh yeah, I lied to the grand jury. No big deal, just perjury. That's perjury, folks. If you need the definition of perjury, I made a video on my channel talking about the definition of perjury and what it means to perjure yourself and how you can perjure yourself. You have to have 2 inconsistent statements. Go check it out. Both made under oath. And impeachments are rampant in this trial for obvious reasons. They have too many things they have to keep in their heads, from the interviews, the grand jury testimony, the reports, the previous trial. It's hard to lie consistently. When you tell the truth, it's easy because you have a mental image of the truth. But when you lie, it's a constructed image. And therefore, that constructed image could be changed. And sometimes you forget what you've constructed. Right, Jennifer?
Lieutenant, there was one other thing that I wanted to ask you about, which is you had indicated to Lieutenant Tully at some point close to 6 p.m. or so, it would be helpful if you and your team had a photograph of what it was you were looking for, correct?
Yeah, I believe after we found the first piece or two, I asked him if he had a photograph that we could look at just to see how large of an area, how large of a piece we were looking for, sir. Yes.
Fine. So that would, just timing-wise, if you found the first piece at 5:45, first piece or two, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 minutes later, after that, maybe 5 minutes later, so let's place it at 5:50, close to 6, something like that?
Yeah, probably between 5:45 and 5:50 possibly, sir.
And you said to him at the time it'd be helpful if we had a photograph of what it is we're looking for, correct?
Yeah, I said that would help, yes, sir.
And Lieutenant told you that the vehicle did not have a photograph because it was still en route from Dighton being transported to Canada, right?
He did say he did not have a photograph and it was being towed back.
Okay. Thank you, Lieutenant.
Thank you, sir.
Now we get to the redirect by Brennan and then the recross by Jackson. So buckle up, folks. It's about to get interesting. And don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Let's go.
Sir, you mentioned that there were about 5 people not on your CERT team at some point arriving at Fairview Road or the area of it.
Yes, that's correct, sir.
3 of them were Mass State Police. You mentioned Tully and 2 of his colleagues.
Correct, sir.
Did you see anybody taking photographs of the items that you found?
Yes, Lieutenant Tully was taking photographs while we were there, sir.
And did you see somebody putting the items in bags?
Yes, they did, sir.
Was that one of the 2 people that were with Lieutenant Tully?
Yes, correct, sir.
You mentioned there were 2 Canton police officers. Were they part of the search?
They were not, sir, no.
Were they on the grid?
They were not, sir.
Did you ever see them in the area on the grid?
I did not, no, sir.
They were there. Were they involved in any way in the crowd?
They weren't the only people that ever came on scene other than us, and those local officers were at some point. The media did arrive on scene.
When you say on scene, is on scene different than on the grid?
Correct, just in the general vicinity, sir.
Did you know what the Canton police officers were doing?
I do not know, sir.
Did you ever see either of them ever come on your grid?
They did not know, sir.
Did you ever see anybody place or toss or throw anything onto your grid?
I'll allow it.
Did you ever see anybody place or toss or throw anything onto your grid?
I did not know, sir.
Did you ever see anybody intrude on the grid and leave an item?
Choose a different word.
Did you ever see anybody physically intrude upon your grid?
No, no one did that, sir.
You
Now, when
asked
you were
about
there.
best practices memorializing. The person who was taking photographs.
Hold on for a second.
Slow down a little, Mr. Brennan.
You mentioned best
Wait,
practices.
was that the court reporter? I think the court reporter was like, "You're moving too fast. Can you slow down?" That's what I think happened. I'm not 100% sure because she's off camera. But sometimes the court, if you move too fast and you talk over your own witness, especially, the court reporter just can't keep up. Slow down, Brennan. Like, come on. There's a woman trying to do her job. I know you're stressed and nervous because you're losing this case, but try and keep it together, okay, buddy?
Of memorializing items. And you also mentioned Lieutenant Tully was taking photographs.
Yes, that's correct, sir.
Do you know if those photographs were time and date stamped?
I believe they were, sir.
Is time and date stamping with photographs best practices in memorializing things?
Yes, they are, sir.
Now, before you defined the grid, and before you began that search, you knew other state police officers, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
By the way, I forgot to mention this because this is new. I have finally polished up and created an updated version of our memberships. Because up until this point, we had like this running joke on the channel. This goes back to the Johnny Depp trial days. When Johnny sued Amber Heard in Virginia, and I ended up going to that trial, and I created memberships because I didn't have memberships up until that point, and we had like mini grills and the Grill Father, like we had all of those. It was just a fun, play on my last name, Foreman. By the way, may he rest in peace, George Foreman, for those of you who may not know, passed away a few weeks ago. So very, very fresh, very recent. But yeah, it was just a fun little thing that we did. We had, like I said, we had the mini grills. We had the mean grills. We had the mini grills. We had the mean grills. We had the Grill Daddy. We had the Grill Father. And it was fun and games. But it's time to upgrade our membership position. Now, as of today, there are 5 levels of membership on my channel, and they're completely brand new, renamed with their own special perks. And they are intern, clerk of court, associate attorney, named partner, and Supreme Court Justice. Okay? 5 tiers to choose from, starting at 99 cents for interns, $4.99 for clerk of court, $14.99 for associate attorney, $24.99 for named partner. And for those of you aficionados out there who really want to support this channel to the maximum of your ability, Supreme Court Justice for $49.99. Okay? But I'm going to have some content behind a paywall, namely the Diddy trial. Karen Reed is always going to be free for the duration of the trial. But because a lot of you have indicated that you are not interested in me covering the Diddy trial in New York, I figured I still want to make content about it, but I also don't want to be like interrupting the flow of the channel. So what we're going to do is over the next few days, you're going to start seeing videos popping up on my channel that are going to be hiding behind a paywall. They're going to be members only. In order to view that, all you have to do is pay 99 cents. You can always pay more. I don't expect it. It's fine. But whatever you want to do. But it is intentional. I am doing this completely intentionally. Number 1, not to interrupt the flow of the Karen Reed trial. And number 2, for those of you who are diehard aficionados of my channel and are like, Larry, I absolutely have to see this content. I don't care. I will pay the 99 cents, or if you are so inclined to pay more, by all means, like I said, you're more than welcome to. That's why it's there. And this way you're supporting me, you're supporting the channel, you're supporting paying for my editor, paying for my thumbnail creator. Shout out to them both. And more, we're going to be adding more people to the production team eventually. So just keep in mind, this is what's going to be happening. We've already implemented it. They are already live, and you're more than welcome to join at whatever tier you desire. If you have been in a previous tier that is no longer in existence, I don't know, and I don't think you'll be grandfathered in to the new tiers, so you'll have to go back and manually rejoin. Also, for those of you using an iPhone, that button is not going to be there to join on as a member. iPhones, for some reason, something to do with the Apple Store, they clash. You have to do it on your MacBook or your Apple computer, if you're an iOS user, or if you're Android, I believe you can do it from the Play Store, or when I say Play Store, I mean like on YouTube or on your PC. You cannot go wrong. It's just if you have an iPhone and you're trying to join on as a member, you're going to fail. I have seen it happen more times than I can count, especially in lives. I know I don't really do live shows anymore, but back when I did, those days remind me of it. So anyway, that's enough of this. Again, don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel. Call us if you need us, 1-844-774-HURT. Let's get back into the video, shall we? Let's finish up O'Hara. We got about 10 minutes or so left of testimony plus my commentary, and then we will go on to the next video. So let's finish up.
Did you know a person by the name of Trooper Yuri Buchanan?
Yes, I do know him, sir.
Did you know somebody at the time known as Trooper Michael Proctor?
Yes, I do know him, sir.
Were either Michael Proctor or Trooper Yuri Buchanan at Fairview that night?
No, they were not, sir.
Did you see them at any time from the point you got there at 4:56 p.m. until when you left?
No, I did not see them there, sir.
You mentioned that somebody came out of a side
That's because they were there before, scattered the scene, and then left. And then they showed up.
door at 34 Fairview who
Easy.
had a hoodie on.
Yes, that's correct, sir.
How long were they outside for?
Maybe 10 seconds, sir.
Did they at any time interfere with your search?
No, they did not.
Did they at any time try to discourage or dissuade you from searching?
Next question, I'll sustain you.
Did that person do anything to impede your search?
No, he did not.
You were asked about your conversation with Trooper Tully,
Yes, sir.
and he mentioned, or you characterized, he was very satisfied that what you had found, everything you were going to locate at that time.
That's correct, sir.
Did he ever suggest that he expected that you would not find anything else?
No, he did not.
Did he ever suggest that there was no other trace evidence there?
No, he did not.
Was there a discussion that he or you or other people may come back to search further at a different time?
We offered to come back at a later date, and, he just accepted our offer, but we were never contacted to come back, sir.
When you offered to come back, was that based on your assessment that it was a difficult area to search?
Correct. Again, as we talked about probability of detection, we'll base that on 10 different categories, give him a baseline percentage chance of it. Would we have found what we were looking for? I told him there was a good chance we did not locate all the evidence, asked him if he wanted us to come back at a later date, sir.
And when you mentioned that you couldn't finish the search because of the grass, tell us a little bit about what made it difficult because of the grass.
Even using the push brooms, we couldn't properly move the snow off the grass as we were moving it, and with the dark, even the headlamps, I didn't feel like we were clearing it enough to continue searching it. I think our best efforts would be to focus on the street, because I was more concerned about eventually the plow coming in, clearing curb to curb, and moving any evidence that was on the street. My thought was, if with the grass not being able to properly clear it, at least that would be contained to be searched at a later date as the snow melted.
And given those assessments, is that some of those reasons why you offered to come back?
Yes, sir.
I've shown you some photographs you've identified about some of the pieces that you found or the pieces that you found that night. I'd like to show those photographs to the jury.
Okay.
If we could show Exhibit 73, please. Is that one of the photographs you identified earlier?
Yes, it is, sir.
Is there a chance, Ms. Gilman, that we could do a close-up of that? Can you describe what you're seeing?
It's a piece of clear taillight. It's got rigid edges, some indentations on it, distinctive markings.
Did all of the pieces you found have those type of markings on it?
Not sure if they had those exact same markings, so I'd have to compare the photos.
Was there different colors of pieces that you found that night?
Yes, we also found pieces of red taillight as well.
Could we see 73A, please? Is 73A a picture from further away of the same piece?
Yes, that's what it appears to be, sir.
Was it easier to see these pieces that night in person than it is in photos, or was there any difference in the ability to identify these pieces.
Sustained.
When you saw the piece from where you were standing, did it look any different than it does in this photo?
No, it doesn't, sir.
Could we see 75, please? In that picture from this perspective, can you see any pieces of taillight?
There's a piece of red taillight in the left-hand side of that photo, sir.
On a little bit of a mound?
Correct, sir.
Is that where that piece was found, on the mound?
No, that's the photo, like we discussed earlier, sir, that came up with one of the shovels. And you can see, when you get close to that photo, you'll see the actual molding of the overturned shovel.
So it was scooped up and then placed on that mound?
Correct. As the trooper overturned it to start beginning to sift through the different layers of snow, that's where he deposited that snow, sir.
Could we get a close-up of the left side of that picture, please? Can you see the shovel marks near that piece?
Yes, they're directly behind it and off to the left. You can see the molding, the shovel.
You can see a bit of a divot to the left of the red.
Yes, correct, sir.
Is that part of imprint from the shovel?
Yes, it is, sir.
Could we see 75A, please? Is that a closer picture of the same item?
Yes.
The imprint, does that give you a clearer view of the shovel you were speaking about?
Yes, it does, sir.
Could we see 76, please? Is that one of the photographs you identified earlier?
Yes, it is, sir.
And that piece, was it found at ground level,
Yes, that photo is where that item was located, sir.
touching the ground?
Yes, sir.
Could we get a close-up of that, please?
By the way, I just realized something, and it's something we've been talking about for a very long time. I just don't know if I ever actually made a point of it. Why don't we have a single photo of John laying in the snow? Why don't we have a single photo of John laying in the snow? Isn't that like crime scene 101, photograph the deceased in the snow? It must have been really, really, really obvious that he wasn't hit by a car, so they're like, yeah, we can't photograph this. This is too damaging to our case that he was hit by a car, so we're just gonna skip that. Who doesn't photograph the body at the scene? Has anyone ever seen a photograph of John O'Keefe's body laying in the snow on the scene? Because I sure haven't. Let me know in the comments below if you have, and I'm missing something, because I don't think we've ever seen that.
And if we could have 76A, please. Is that a picture of the same item?
Yes, it is. Just zoomed in, sir.
You can close that, please, and turn the lights on. Thank you. To be clear on the timeline, your colleague arrived, first colleague arrived at what time?
4:54 p.m., sir.
And you arrived at?
4:56.
You mentioned that it looked like fresh snow.
Yes, sir. The area we searched was fresh, undisturbed snow.
And when you got there at 4:56, when you described fresh, undisturbed snow, was that your impression when you first got there at 4:56?
Yes, I realized that the plow had not cleared curb to curb.
You began your actual search at what time?
Right around 5:20, we wound up again. We moved a couple of our cruisers around just so to add extra headlights, extra lighting on the scene itself.
And the first piece of evidence was found at what time?
5:45, sir.
Your area that you searched, did you say it was 8 to 10 feet?
No, sir. The area I marked off was just over approximately 60 feet. We'd gone about 8 to 10 feet towards the end of the search without locating any more items, and that's where
That was like 25 minutes worth.
when we suspended the search.
How much of your focus was near the street area?
Only 99% of it, sir. As soon as we got to the grass and realized we couldn't clear it properly, my main focus was on that street, just again because I was concerned about the plow coming through at a later time.
You were worried that if you didn't finish the street, there could be some impact from plowing?
Yes, sir.
And did you say 99%?
What do you mean impact from plowing? You're a police officer, for God's sake. You put up crime scene tape and you say, "Thou shalt not enter." And the plow driver is going to go, "Oh, I don't care, it's a crime scene. I got to plow, so I'm going through anyway." You understand how stupid this sounds? He was concerned that his scene might get contaminated, so they were rushing. You're an officer of the law, allegedly, right? You can tape things off. You can put up barricades. Hey, this is an active crime scene. Please don't enter. Oh, okay. Thank you. This is just so bizarre.
area?
Yeah, approximately, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, now we get to the recross.
Anything, Mr. Jackson?
Yes, briefly. So the search went approximately 60 feet,
That's the area I marked off, sir.
and in that 60 feet, you started close to or adjacent to the front door, correct?
Correct, sir.
And in that 60 feet, you were doing the type of search that we described earlier, that you described earlier, about going just a few paces at a time and starting to move material out of the way to try to get down to the surface, correct?
Yes, sir, all working together, yes, sir.
And you did not find 40 pieces of taillight at or near or on that street or the lawn or any place else, correct?
Yeah, I don't know the overall number, sir, but
And neither did your colleagues.
correct, sir. We've never been notified how much has been located.
The only thing that you found was concentrated in one area, maybe a foot or 2 feet in diameter. You said
Yes.
6 or 7 pieces and a shoe, correct?
That's what we located, yes, sir.
You didn't find a black baseball cap, correct?
We did not know, sir.
And in the photographs that we've seen, that's clearly not undisturbed snow, correct?
The photographs are us moving after having moved the snow, sir.
Some of it is y'all moving snow. Some of it is disturbed snow on the street or at the curb, correct?
After we had moved it, yes, sir.
You indicated that Trooper Proctor and Trooper Buchnick, you know both of them, correct?
I know who they are, yes, sir.
Or know who they are. When Trooper Tully told you that the vehicle was en route and could not provide you a photograph at, let's call it 5:50 p.m., did he tell you that the vehicle had actually been secured at Canton PD about a mile and a half away at 5:35 p.m.?
No, he did not say that, sir.
Did you know through any other means that that vehicle was just a mile and a half away at 5:35 p.m. before you ever found the first piece of taillight? Did you know that?
I did not know what time it arrived, sir.
Thank you.
Do you know what time Trooper Tully told you he did not have a photograph?
It was sometime after we found the first piece, sir, so sometime after 5:45,
Redirect?
sir.
Thank you.
All right.
That's all I have.
Okay. Criminally complicit in the cover-up of the murder of John O'Keefe by the Alberts and whoever else assisted. Brian Albert, Colin Albert, Brian Higgins, and probably at least 2 other men. My suspicion, Matthew McCabe, and maybe 1 more. There you have it, folks. I hope you are enjoying the rest of your holiday weekend. Back to work tomorrow, back to school tomorrow. Well, for some of you, I guess summer classes and stuff like that. And back to trial tomorrow. Are you all excited? Let me know in the comments below how excited you are to get back into it. I'm sure the jurors are very irritated for having to take 5 days off when it could have just been 3. But Auntie Bev wanted to celebrate a little extra hard on Wednesday night because she was honored at an event sponsored by the Massachusetts Bar Association as Person of the Year or some goofy crap like that. Guess who was like a platinum level sponsor of the event where Auntie Bev was honored as Person of the Year by the Massachusetts Bar Association? Aperture LLC, who works for Aperture, who is soon to be unemployed after this trial is over, if not already, Shannon Burgess. That's right, folks. Good old Shannon Burgess works for Aperture, and Aperture dropped money just to make sure that Auntie Bev gets sponsored. Or excuse me, gets nominated and wins. Can't make this stuff up, folks. Like I said, I think, as I tweeted a few days ago, when I found out about this, I just figured I'd share with my YouTube audience for those of you who don't follow me on Twitter or X or whatever. I'm hoping that this is just like one last honoring of her before she's off the bench forever, very, very soon, because this is the end of her career. And she knows it. She knows it, that she just doesn't care anymore. She's 5 years from mandatory retirement anyway, might as well retire early. I don't think she will ever get a prison sentence for her crimes, but Auntie Bev, at the very least, is going to get reprimanded and removed from the bench permanently, hopefully, here over the next few months. I'm really looking forward to seeing this. And people should start getting locked up very soon. We're going to start seeing arrests. We're going to start seeing a cleanup of Canton. I don't know if it's going to be the FBI. I don't know if it's going to be somebody else, but somebody's got to step in. It's inevitable. Inevitability, folks. So I'm really looking forward to that. And until then, I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.